Hi, everyone. We're back talking about our new strategic plan. I'm here with Chair Susan Nita and Chair-elect Matt. And today we're going to focus on member-driven services and experience. I think it's important to lead off by saying, first of all, we know that our members expect services and experiences that meet their needs, don't give me something I don't need, and exceeds their expectations. That's a catchphrase we hear a lot. Everybody wants to exceed expectations, but we work hard at that. My team, our board of directors, our past boards of directors, our volunteer leaders, everybody wants to do a little bit more than what's expected. But today we're going to explore really what's, I guess, the second goal in our new strategic plan. And it's delivering member-driven services and experiences that add real value to Realtors' business. But first of all, isn't member-driven sort of a catchphrase, Susanita?
I suppose some people could consider it that way, but at CREB, we actually really mean it when we say we want to hear from our members. And one of the things that I love about CREB, I was talking to Sam this morning about just the culture of CREB, and it's family to us. Like, we really feel like this is our family, and, the staff treat our members so well that they really feel it. One of the things that I've always appreciated about CREB is that if there is a member engagement with staff, if they have a question or they have to talk to the help desk about something, they do get a survey afterwards. And Alan and his team look at those surveys and say, is there any need for improvement? I don't have the numbers on the survey satisfaction. I don't know if you have that on the top of your head, but I know it's really high. And, one of the reasons why we renovated the building was because of feedback from our members. They want a place to gather. They want a place to come and network with each other, a great place to learn. And that's what the campus is for as well. So it's for our members.
Constant feedback. Yeah, important. So, Matt, maybe talk to us a little bit about how member feedback helped shape this goal, going back in time to leading into the strat planning work and how much data was gathered and shoved into your head.
There was a bit. So, at its core, CREB is a cooperative and it's member driven, like we were just talking about, right? And the tools and the supports that our members need to do their business every day is table stakes at the end of the day. I don't think this one was really much of a question when we were sitting around the table. It was, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Right. When we talked about the last segment about elevating professionalism, there's a lot that we can still do there, but this is really table stakes at the end of it. We have the right things for our members that they're asking for. And we have to be looking for the next great thing to find, whether it's, looking at different artificial intelligence tools and how can we bring those to members, or what is the next great innovation that we've got. And so we collected a ton of data, had to sit there and talk about all the different things that we offer. Staff come back to us and provide us with, lists of services and where we're sourcing those services from, and, what's the best thing going forward? How can we support members and Canada First and that kind of thing too. So we've come at this from a lot of different angles.
and I think it's probably a good time to talk about our committees as well. So we do have a committee, MSISC, which is Member Services Innovation Standing Committee, and they look at tech. That's their job. They look at MLS systems. They look at any other tech that could help us do our jobs better. And that's only one committee. So again, the member-driven aspect of everything that we do comes from the members first, directly to us or through the committee level, and then eventually to the board of directors.
I think that's a really good point because, it's the Member Service Innovation Standing Committee. And it's really about innovation in a big way. And they've focused sometimes on maybe part of the innovation is getting people to maximize current tools. Not always about new toys. Sometimes it's about using the ones that are, maybe the Lego is still the best thing to play with, or Play-Doh. But it's, and these are serious business tools. That's one thing about the member experience and why it's so important to be driven by the members, because it has to be things they really need when they need it and how they need it. And I think that's the key element, how.
And not just about the tools, but, supports as well, right? Like we
Yeah.
look at the Connecting Members Standing Committee and the work that they've done in the past year around, safety and mental health and that kind of thing. And that's a huge
Yeah.
part of being in the industry today. I mean, this can be a very lonely industry to be in. So if we can provide additional supports outside of just here's a tool or a
Yeah.
toy to play with, like here's some support for you how to work in this.
Yes. And so I would like to just take this opportunity to invite any member who's interested in any committee to please come forward, because we're always looking for good people who want to volunteer. It couldn't be more rewarding to do this for your fellow members.
Yeah. In fact, we've really focused, and some of these things we're talking about are happening already. And some of the things members will notice in 2026 will be that we're doing more of some things and we're doing them differently or better. But having volunteers serving on committees, being involved, members having other contact points where they can jump in and participate, whether it is doing survey work or, I shouldn't say work, it's fun, right? I mean, who doesn't like completing a survey? We actually do try to make them fun. We certainly want to make them quick. And we're doing different types of survey work, but that's all important data that we really, really are craving, and we need it. But the other aspects of this is the loneliness and the fact that it's a business where our members operate quite often in private settings, and their safety matters. We've introduced some great new tools to help make them or help them be more safe and to protect themselves through self-defense and self-awareness training and those kinds of things. Always focusing on that, bringing people in for that. But for sessions at the CREB campus, one of the things I love seeing on our screens, and again, it's very transparent, who's using the rooms and kind of what they're using them for. It's amazing the number of events almost on a daily basis where people are booking rooms of 8 or 10 or 14 capacity. And it's a self-help or group support or, there's some form of interaction, and it's across brokerages, it's within brokerages, it's within teams even. And I think that's one thing that we heard over and over again is we just need a place to come and do those kinds of things. And the other resources that are here, the take it or leave it of books and those kinds of things, the ability, come around the corner, come in my office and ask me a question, and hey, I'll introduce you to the team member that knows a hell of a lot more about that topic than I do, and they can help you. Or they want to talk to you. They've got some questions, and sometimes that helps. So how do we know how we're doing? Because you mentioned the survey, and I don't actually quote those numbers. I don't have them top of mind. I have colleagues, I've sat and watched them in meetings, and I'm not talking about the real estate space necessarily, but they'll rattle that stuff off. And my thought is always, well, wonderful. That was at a point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great to have goals. And I love stretch goals. And I've freaked out my team and maybe even the board of directors a little bit with some of the goals for member satisfaction surveys. But I really believe that it's always a composite of how you're doing that helps you maintain that you're on track or confirm you're off track. Because one of the things that really maybe upsets people a little bit and drives some of those calls is when we take things away. And the answer is, well, you were the only one using it, which never happened. It's always more than one member, but it happens sometimes where some change has to happen because we can't do everything all the time. And that's part of the challenge. So I think making sure that we're measuring things and keeping certainly the board of directors informed, because sometimes the board will identify a risk around a certain product or a certain service that we're doing. And that's, again, how change happens.
As you mentioned, we've got all the survey data that we collect, and then for the board of directors as well, like, one of our primary roles is oversight, right? We're not involved in the day-to-day operations, but we're there to oversee things and make sure things are on the right track and being executed on. So, we've got some tools internally that we can use as well to look at, is the campus being utilized? How well is it being utilized? How many of our members are actually coming through the door and making use of it? So we've got that feedback mechanism where it's a rear view mirror log, right? But again, to your point, it shows us, are we off track? Is it really falling down, or is there an opportunity here to change or adjust or shift things? And then gathering feedback day to day, different events, looking at how satisfied are the members with the quality of the content they're getting, because it's one thing to put out content. Anybody can put out a course or that kind of thing, but are you actually happy with what you're getting?
Yeah.
Does it actually add value to your day to day? The team's done a fantastic job. And in the conversations that I've had with members, anybody that has came and utilized the services here has said, this is fantastic. And, it's really helping grow my business, build my business, or even just reconnect, right? Like I've talked to experienced agents that have been in this business for 20 plus years, and they're like, I needed a refresh. Like, yeah, this stuff is fundamental. It's basic, but I just needed to shift my mindset a little.
And again, kudos to the team in charge of education at CREB, because they're always looking for a potential new offering for the members as well. And they're very well vetted, all of these offerings. But the fact that it's open is so important, because it's very easy to go, well, we've got this great course and we're just going to keep offering it because we've got great satisfaction ratings. Well, maybe there's something better. And the education team are always looking at that.
Yeah, they are. They work hard at that. And I brought up realtor safety a while ago. This is the kind of thing where there's other sources of great information. We've had some great feedback and suggestions from members about different instructors and teachers and folks that have lived experiences. Again, this is all part of the journey. And one speaker might resonate more with the group than another. And that's where the team is really adept at sort of mixing that up a bit and again, pouring through that feedback. So keep the feedback coming. And these are member-driven services and experiences that are only going to get better if you're giving us that feedback. So
and
keep driving.
Like Matt alluded to, some of the feedback is anecdotal. Like we don't have a survey that's gone out to a person, but they've come to us and said, you know what, we think you're doing a great job on this, and this, and that. So the feedback is from survey driven all the way up to just conversation.
So you've both had extensive experience or current ongoing experience in brokerage leadership, and I was there. Sometimes I was the broker and sometimes I was the one they still came to. But how do you see brokers fitting in terms of connecting members to the services and being aware of what's available?
We do have a wonderful outreach program where Alan or myself or Matt or a combination thereof will visit the broker community. And it's called CREB in Your Community, where we will go and talk to the associates at an office about anything they want to talk about. There's no censorship. You can bring up anything that you like. And then also getting feedback from the brokers on what they'd like to see as well. And making sure that the brokers are aware of all of our offerings so that they can decide which is best for their brokerage, because there's, not going to be one size fits all. It's going to be dependent on the brokerage and what they currently offer to their associates.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think to build on what Susanita is saying, there's so much information coming at everybody every day, right? We all get hundreds of emails, walk in a meeting, walk out, and just go with dread. Oh, well, what's in my inbox, right? So it's easy to miss some of what's available. It just kind of gets blended in with the noise. So these opportunities like CREB in Your Community, where we're visiting the brokerages, are hugely important. And just for staff, directors, volunteers to get out and connect with brokers, the agents, and let them know what is here and what is available and what we can help with. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a small brokerage or if you're a large brokerage. We have tools for everyone, and we have resources for all of them.
Yeah.
And, it's about helping build that awareness and making sure that they know that we're here to help, no matter the size, no matter the business model. That is the benefit of this organization. We're here to help everyone.
Excellent. Great summation. Well, I think we've sort of gone exhaustively through how we try to understand and meet and better yet exceed member expectations for their services. And and their experiences, because I think that's another piece to this. Experiences aren't necessarily organized ticketed events. Sometimes they're a pop-up event. We do a lot of those now at the campus, but also it's sometimes those casual interactions. And I think there's a lot of different ways that we work hard to make sure the members realize they're being heard, and we can't do everything all the time. And if they're trying to suggest something to us that's illegal, fattening, or or offside, we'll explain that. And I've had those conversations where sometimes it's, well, I don't agree. Well, okay, here's how you can affect change. Change is a good thing. So that's, I think, enough for this session. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about how we're going in the new strategy and the new plan, how we're going to make members more future ready. And that's going to be a very interesting discussion. Forward to that. Thank you.